Well, g'day everyone. Going to talk to you today about a really nice slider that's just been sent to me. I did have the previous model to this, and I'll talk about the differences between the two of them. In fact, I've got three of these now because I also have just the manual slider as well. So let's have a look at what's been sent. I've got this. It's called the Micro 2 Plus now, and we'll unbox this. The second part to it is this. Which is the motor that comes with it as well. The previous one that I had, everything is in it together, and I'll show you that here. So if you look at this one, the motor is attached to the unit itself. Now you can take this off, but it's quite a complex sort of process, so it's not very easy at all, whereas this system is designed to be very, very quick, and I'll show that being used. Okay, so let's unbox this and have a look at what's inside this one. So in this, you've just got the manuals here. There'll be one for the application as well, the iPhone application, and this is the slider manual. And then the unit is here. And we've also got a bag too, which is nice because I do like to store them in the bags that they come with, because these are very, very handy to keep. And then in here, there's just an extra belt, I think. So it's been given me a spare belt. Now I'm not sure if that comes with the unit itself or whether you have to purchase that as well. So let me put all these aside. Before we look at the motor side of this, this is what I love about this system is, and this is why I still even use the non-motorized one now, because it has like this little tension. Let me just undo this. It has a nice tension that's built into the slider. So basically, you can do really nice sliding without having a motor on this. All the other type of sliders that I've had doesn't have that real tension on the side, and that can be really frustrating because you'll sort of varies your speed when you're doing the slide, so that's really nice. So let's talk about the features that this slider has. There is a lock on the side here. If I press that down, it unlocks it. There's a lock on the back part here, which is how you lock it in position. So for instance, if I wanted to say move it to here and then lock it, I can just press this in and then it will be locked in that point there, which means it's not going to move, and it's very, very strong actually. That's nice. The other unit had just the locks at the front here on the sides, which sort of meant you only could lock it in that position. But the beauty of this unit is that if you slide it out, so basically let me lock that off, and then if I unlock it, you'll see now that it's going to go completely along to this side. It even goes off the screen there. So you can see now it's gained all of this room. I'll zoom out to show you that. So it's now gone to that length on that side, and if we go to the other side, it really is great. So what it means is that you can have this inside your bag or whatever you want to do, because it only takes up this much room instead of taking up this much room. Okay, so let me show you the bottom of this now, but these sort of open up really nicely now. Now you can also screw these out, so if you did want to make something balanced, you can screw that out to make sure that it's level on the ground, and you just open that up to where you'd like that to go. So this is a great way of sort of lifting it off the ground and making sure that it's balanced that way as well. The other thing that this has done too is it's given it support. The previous model tended to tip over if you move these right to the extremes, whereas now with this on, I'll just move this over here a little bit, it's much stronger. Like if I push down on this now, it's not dipping at all or falling over. So it's much stronger in that regard than what the previous unit used to be. So it's much nicer there actually. Like I said before, that it's so smooth when you're moving this manually. There are mounting points here as well, which is really nice. So you can mount it into two spots, your base plate, so that it's not going to twist or move, which is also really nice. This little locking mechanism, I'll talk about it when we start to put the motor on, so I'll show you how that works as well. So before the previous model, this had to be bought separately. This whole base structure on the bottom here with the feet was a separate purchase. Now it's kept as the one unit. Okay, so let's have a look at the slider motor. Now the beauty of this system is how this connects. The previous one, like I said, was a nightmare. This really, once you get used to it, I mean, I might take longer now because it's the first time I've done it, but I have seen it done, and it takes around about 30 seconds to a minute, so it's very, very fast. So let me show you how you connect both of them. So the first thing we'll do is put this base unit on. Now there's holes on the side, so it's very, very easy to see where they'll go in, and you just screw these units just in like this. All right, now that we've got this in place, let's see how we attach the cable onto this. So all I do is I simply move this over until it goes in, and then it just clips into that section that you can see through here. And then the top part, to join the two together, you just move this into position down here, and then you just start winding this until it tightens right up, and you'll feel it goes as far as it can. Now that means that this cable then is tight. You're then ready to go. So that's how simple this was to replace the sort of single unit where you control it manually with the motor on. The great part about this is if you did run out of battery power or something like that, you can very quickly take this off and then obviously use it as your manual slider if you wanted to. So that's what's really good about this. And just remember to keep your other cable in case if you want to do that. So that's it, really. So what we'll do now is I'll show you the differences between the two units, this one and the previous one, just so you can see what the differences actually are. So I'll bring this one in. Okay, so this is the new unit, this is the older unit. You'll see that they're very, very close in how they look, but there is some features that's different between these two. This one has the locks here that I was talking about. Now, this will only lock if this is in the center, whereas this one now has the lock on the outside that you just click down and lock this way, and then it can be locked in any position. So that's a nice new feature between the two of them. Also the battery, this unit here, if I bring a battery in, it just basically sits in by friction, I think, because if you look at it, and I'll bring it in, it clips in, but there's nothing really holding it there, and I have had this knock off a couple of times if I've hit it, but you see it just pulls out, whereas this new one has a lock there. If I come here and lock it, you can see that that's clipped out. This will then not come out. In fact, you really have to press it down reasonably hard to get the battery off, so that's another nice feature with how this works. The rest of the controls and everything work the same way. Underneath, if we look this way, like I said, this now has been updated. The previous one here was an add-on component, whereas now this is installed on it. You can see it's actually a lower profile, which is nicer if you want to store this in your bags. It's hard to tell if you look that way, but if we look this way, it is definitely a lower profile. But I do like how low profile this is due to the fact that you can just keep this in the case. So I like this system much better. And also I've found that this one will tip over, whereas the other one didn't when it goes to the other, the extreme. So they're both very, very similar. Also you have the new cable management that's sitting in here now as well. That's very easy to change. This one here as well, this is how you get this base bit off. You use this and also some screws underneath, whereas this one doesn't have it because it's already built in. So what I'll do now is I'll put the battery in. Hopefully there's some power in this. If we click it in like that, I'm just going to pull out the legs. So to turn the unit on, all I do is I just press the power button. Once that comes up like that, it will show the speed setting. Now it's come up on 2. If I press it once more, it will go to 3, so that's the fastest. If I press it again, it will be the slowest. So I'll just show you sort of how it moves. So at the moment it's on its slowest setting. So if I just press here, now just make sure that it is unlocked. And then this is the slowest setting, so it is really quite slow. This would be good for time lapse if you wanted to move very, very slow. If I change to the next setting, which is 2, you can see it's a little bit quicker. Also, I'll let you listen to the noise that it's giving. It's not very loud at all. If I go on to the 3rd setting, that's its fastest setting. Now you can also set endpoints on this, so it will travel on its own if you wanted to do it that way. So all you'll do is you just double click on here and you'll hear a beep. Now that means then you can move to the point where you want it to go. and I'll say make it just go to about here. Stop again, and you press twice again, and you heard 2 beeps again. Now if I press here on the power button twice, it will go from point A to point B. And that's really nice, and it also ramps down as it goes too, so it sort of slows down. Again, if I press it twice again, it will go to where I had before. If you wanted to sort of take that off, all you have to do is just hold down here and you hear it beep, and then that will no longer work, so it gets rid of that programming. So you don't need a mobile phone to be able to use this device, although the mobile phone does make things very, very easy. So what we'll do now is I'll show you some footage of this being used in more of a vertical position. It's the previous model, but they're both basically exactly the same. So I'll show that footage from that. I'll show you it moving up and down so you can sort of see how that works. And I'll also show you a little bit of footage of it being used too. I did use it just in a previous wedding actually on a couple of weekends ago. So I did want to try and see how it went, and it was fine. But I will show some of the other footage as well as I'm talking here, so you can sort of see it being used, which is really nice. So, you know, I think as I'm talking, like I said, I'll show this footage. I think it's really a great little product. Nice and small, very, very easy to use, and I love how now you can take that base plate off, or, you know, the power part, or the motor, and then start to use this manually if you need to as well, particularly if you run out of battery and things like that. I love how it's very, very easy to program as well. I love the new lock positions, which are really nice, and the feet are a good addition too, because it's more low profile than the previous one, and in fact you now no longer have to pay for those legs as a separate purchase. So I think this is a real winner for Zeapon, and I really sort of can't recommend it enough. Yes, it has been sent to me by Zeapon, but I do use them all the time, and I love them. I think they're probably the best slider that you can buy for this price range in the marketplace. They are going to have some other attachments soon, and I really can't wait to have that, because it will have things like follow heads and things like that, so I just can't wait for that. So there will be more attachments coming. In fact, they're shown in the app. Apart from that, let me know what you think. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.